Is anybody still doing the role play itself? Is everybody finished? Okay. Let's pull this together, and I want to ask a few questions. Okay, employees. For those of you who played the role of employee, from the time you started the conversation until the time it ended, did you feel better or worse about your job? Better. Anybody feel worse?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Why did you feel worse?
Because we didn't get a resolution.
You didn't get a resolution. Okay. Did you run out of time, or you just didn't get a resolution?
We were just we were just reprimanding each other back and forth too much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you did this, and you said this, and I said this.
Okay.
Just kind
But we talked about it and we figured out.
You talked about it.
angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Manager
And
was
how
very
to reach-
angry at the employee, and just from the get-go just started telling the employee how mad they were for the behavior that they displayed in front of everyone else.
Yes.
And
not really talking about the project that needs to be done. But after we talked about it, we figured the better way to do is to have empathy for each other and try and work together to get the job done.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's putting yourself. Okay. Let's think about this. What did it? Let's talk about what the manager did wrong. Okay. Did the manager do anything wrong here?
The last minute.
The last minute thing, right? Right out in front of everybody. I mean, come on, what do you expect? Okay, you didn't expect it to happen that way, but still, the manager's got to take a little bit of the blame. What else did the manager do wrong?
threaten the position of supervisor.
Yeah, the whole supervisor thing has been mishandled from the very beginning. I mean, what are the criteria for choosing you? What's the time frame? None of this was established. I mean, there's a lot of things. What about giving all the extra work to her? Do you ever notice how some managers will give all the work to one person? In fact, there's a lot of people that have a mental model that says it doesn't pay to work hard because then they'll give you more work. And there's other people that aren't as good as me, and I get rewarded by getting all the extra work. And that happens sometimes, and that can be frustrating. Yeah, exactly. It's frustrating. So I think, don't you think that this employee has reasons to be frustrated at the manager? I do. I do. And so one of the reasons that we start these things with a question is to give the employee the opportunity to share their own frustration. You know you're frustrated. If you just start by talking about your frustrations, they don't care. The way this is written up, do you think that employee cares about your frustrations at this point? No. So why are you talking about your frustrations first? Seek first to understand and then to be understood. That was from the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi, and it was paraphrased in The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. If you always use that in these situations, it'll go a long way for you. So your first thing that you do, and I know it's late on a Friday afternoon, okay? But it's really important, because if you don't watch out, and even if you achieve the objective of getting this employee to stay all weekend and do it, they are going to have victim monologues running in their head all weekend long. By Monday morning, they are going to be so resentful, and you did this to them. You got to make sure that you do the best job you can to keep that from happening. You don't need those victim monologues running in their head. So you start out by saying, you might even start with an apology. If on your way, and I know how frustrated it said you were in this, but that's the anger. That's not you. All these thoughts come up. It's really important that you understand the thoughts come into your head are only yours if you decide to live them out. You know, we all get frustrated, we all get angry. You say, okay, frustration comes to me, anger comes to me as a gift. I reject the gift because I don't have time for that right now. I have to help somebody else. You know, you need to help this employee. You just don't have the time to indulge yourself in frustration and anger, because you're going to blow it if you do. Deal with that yourself in your own way later on. If you can't do it, count to 10, count to 100, walk around the building, take a couple of laps, do whatever you got to do. Then talk to the employee, okay, so that the frustration is low. Then ask the employee. And if you realize that you did something wrong, say, even though the employee was completely out of line in what they did, you're going to get to that. That does not have to be the first thing you talk about. Let's talk about first things first. I want to apologize for giving you this at the last minute. I know you got upset. I'm upset. We're all upset. Let me tell you what happened. I should have told you this. It got dumped on me at the last minute. I have to catch a plane in an hour. I got to leave for the airport. I can't get out of it. It's a business trip. I'm going to be gone. I get back late Sunday night. I can't do it. And I just found out about this. And I apologize. I did it in completely the wrong way.
Project's done Monday morning.
Okay, whatever. You know, and then I get, but as we walk through this, if I have the time, I'm going to ask some goal questions. You know, it's my goal to have a better relationship with you, and I know I've done some things wrong. And even if I don't know, I'm going to give you the opportunity to talk to me by saying, for instance, what was your goal for saying what you said, yelling, in front of everybody? Now that's a loaded question. What was your goal for saying that? I know she's going to vent. What might you say? Let's role play that for just a second. What was your goal for doing that?
I had to get it off my chest. You got me so mad.
Okay, so you were mad. All right, and in a real situation, you'd probably tell me why you were mad. And you'd probably tell me some of the stuff that I did. And that's the opportunity for me to listen to what you said and say, you know, you're right. Apologize for that, but we're still in a situation. We still have to get this work done. I might have to circle back around and say, okay, I'm going to do what I should have done in the first place. I'm going to tell you this. I'm stuck. I didn't know what to do. I need help. The reason I come to you is because you're so good and you helped me out so much, I didn't know who else I could rely on. But I know that's like a punishment to you. But I want you to know that you're the best person I got. That's why we talked about this stuff before. That's why I want you to do it. And maybe you could, I mean, if it's a problem for you, maybe you could start using your supervisor capabilities and tell me somebody that you would like to work with this weekend, and maybe if we get 2 or 3 people working together and you supervising, it would take you less time and we can get it done. I'm willing to do whatever you think would be a good way to get this done. I mean, let's have this conversation. Let's try to work it out. Let's be reasonable. Let's talk back and forth about this. This whole thing about you becoming a supervisor, hey, I could have handled that a different way. Let's meet next week and talk about what it's going to take and what the criteria are. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is I want to get back to this thing about what you did and say, you know, these are the people out there in the room are the very people you're going to be supervising. They're your peers today. You just made a big scene in front of them, and I know I deserved it, but you still made a big scene. And you lost some credibility. Would you agree with that? I mean, when you're a supervisor, you're going to do that kind of stuff? I mean, okay. I realize that a lot of times stuff happens, and right in the moment, you know, and I am taking the blame for all of this, but at the same time, that kind of behavior is going to be a problem for you and your credibility later on. Let me ask you a favor. In the future, if you get upset with me, would you come into my office, let's close the door, and then tell me what you got? You can even yell at me if you want to, but not out there. Would you agree to that? Okay, so this is the kind of stuff that you want to do in your interchange back and forth. We do not want to, it gets back to immediate change. I need to talk to her about what she did. I need to make sure that she will agree not to do that again. We're going to do that, but that's the last thing we're going to talk about because we need to get this other stuff out of the way. If she doesn't believe that I can see what I did wrong, if I can't apologize for what I did wrong, if I refuse to talk about all the important thing, I had somebody in one of my classes who said that I heard him doing the role play, right? And they said, I'm not here to talk about me, I'm here to talk about you. You know, and the employee said, but you did this, but you did. I don't want to hear it. Shut up. That's basically what they said. I'm not here to talk about me. You're not my supervisor. I'm your supervisor, and I want to talk to you about what you just did. And what does that do to somebody? It doesn't make any sense. You know, that's the kind of things that these results-oriented managers do, and the results they have are horrendous. That's what we're trying to keep from happening in the future here. I don't want you to think we're trying to breed spineless managers, okay? Because you've got to get down to the real thing. You know, all I want is an agreement about the future. I can understand. People are human. Sometimes, you know, you get upset and something comes out. It's not the end of the world unless you keep doing it. It's history. It's done. I can't take it away. I mean, think about that. No matter what your employee has done, you cannot change the past. You can only change the future. But if in trying to reprimand them over what they did in the past, they get resentful towards you, and then it doesn't change, then you're an ineffective manager. Whatever you do that causes them to respect you and to work with you as a team and agree that they will not do it anymore, that's what we're looking for. That's all we want. You got to be reasonable with people.
Roger, one thing I liked about what Tanya said to me, I was the employee.
Yeah.
Was that she had control to let me know my actions were not acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
But in turn, she quickly told me, when we come in on Monday, it's a new day. You know, we're not going back there. We have an agreement. I will not do that anymore. But she had already apologized to me. But the thing that I liked, because I am a move forward person anyway, is it really impressed me that she quickly told me we're looking forward and not backwards.
Yeah.
And I like that, Tanya.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. That's that serenity prayer working too, you know.
Yes.
There's forgiveness. You know, I have a forgiveness statement that I always tell people, forgive other people for not being you. Maybe you would never do that. But see, you do a lot of other things, so you should be understanding of other people, how they could do the things that they do. Forgive people, but don't forgive the behavior, okay? You need to talk to them with respect. I forgive you. You're a great employee, but the behavior is not great. And the behavior needs to change. And then when we get it straight and you tell me you're not going to do it anymore, it's a new day.
That's what she told me.
It's a new day. We're going to bury that and we're going to move forward.